Welcome to another Railroads Online Showcase video, as well as the start of a new sub-series where I play on a map with edited industry positions. I'm definitely going to need a better name for that was better for the intro, but it already took me a week to even make up my mind about where to even put those industries. Putting them into place was very easy. Finding out which one to put where, not so much. So definitely enough about big decisions for now. Also, if you have any suggestion for a new train company name, I would definitely appreciate that because I'm really terrible with stuff like that. But yeah, we of course start anew here. And no, I'm not abandoning the other series. Or the other save. It's just gonna take a while because, well, of that bucket the oil that I encountered. I thought it would just be the best to maybe start something else, play for that, or play on that for a while, and then later go back to the other one and maybe use both of them, just occasionally switching between the two, depending on what just is going on and what's happening and what I want to maybe try out and deal with, stuff like that. But yeah, definitely planning on going back to that one. There are also a few things besides just the late game industries that I still want to do, but that's gonna take a while. And for now, I'm just happy being here. It's even just fun playing with the Betsy again as a main engine. So yeah, for this area, let's now get into the stuff that I built here. Just started connecting the three different tracks with a freeway junction. I think that's pretty obvious thing to do. Now that we have those, not too keen on using them in every location possible because, well, the switches don't align automatically if you come in from one of these sides. So if I have something like a big drive-through junction or something, yeah, I would likely not come off the same way that I went in if I if I don't have the switches aligned automatically. So I'd rather have something where the game does the thing itself. It's likely a bit safer than me forgetting about it and yeah, causing a mess occasionally. Also, you may have noticed that I got just one car parked over here. This is a car that I start with. So starting out, you have a Betsy, you have one of these lock holding cars. And I decided to just keep it here and dump my entire cash on skeleton cars. So I got 10 of them. Completely, well, drained my funds over here. As you can see, 0 available. Didn't even do any deliveries. I don't know how I got 3 levels. Maybe you get those from just buying the cars? I don't know. But anyways, I thought, well, having 10 skeleton cars, it would look a bit weird having another completely different one at the back, and also, well, 10 cars means I can transport 50 logs at a time, and that should mean that I can do 4 complete deliveries to the logging camp before, no, not the logging camp, the sawmill, before that is full. So having another car in here, yeah, I could have maybe only bought 9 skeleton cars and get this one as a 10th. But overall, this is not gonna do me anything in addition to those, because those should be, yeah, it should just clear out pretty well. The only other thing on this in this area to talk about is that there is no freight depot anymore. So I'm planning to use this as a main train yard. After all, we get all the different trains over here. Only thing is I need to be a bit wary about the track on the outside. I wish they would put that somewhere else. Just off in the distance, somewhere where it's not in the way, because in this position it very much is so. However, since the freight depot is not here, I can just go and build whatever I want on the inside. Should be more than enough space now. And yeah, the freight depot always kind of got into my way in this way, and it was a bit weird having both the train yard and the depot as one and kind of integrating them both into each other. I don't know. So yeah, this is the switch to start it all out with. I need at least a few shunting lanes in order to store the skeleton cars and get the stake cars once I buy them. And yeah, I didn't make any money yet, so stake cars are definitely high priority. So yeah, shunting area, just to switch between the two different types of cars and going down to the freight depot. That's gonna be a bit of a journey. But yeah, once I got enough stuff for some of those cars, I will definitely deliver to the freight depot first. After all, the last time I rushed it pretty much trying to get to the iron mine, mainly because I didn't know that the freight depot would actually accept any cargo, and yeah. I thought the only way for the sawmill produce to go was either onto the tracks to despawn or up into the mountains to the iron mine, and that's not gonna happen for a while until I get a stronger engine. Because that was not fun dealing with a Betsy on an incline. You can forget about that. But anyways, let's now go to the logging camp, where I got the Betsy and the 10 skeleton cars. All loaded up, waiting for departure, which I want to do at the end of this video just to give you guys a bit of a sightseeing tour. So here we are, here we have all the cars, they are still all together. I heard stuff about them derailing much. I had a few issues myself already with them, especially when trying to connect a train on my other save, where I went for 20 of the cars and it was just all weird. Didn't have any issues with these ones yet, but we're gonna have to see about it. Only thing I really dislike about them, and this is something that really makes me kinda icky, on the cars themselves, the logs are shorter than anywhere else in the game. If I just try to load this on and you see how much it stands over before falling onto the car, at which point it can of course not be be accepted anymore because this one is full already, but you just saw how it was standing over it or hanging over at each of the sides. I think they should have definitely made it so that the logs are using up more of the space of the car, so maybe going up to almost the connection thing here, the coupler. And on this side maybe going up to this side of a 2x4. Just to really make it space efficient, and then maybe also, of course, just lengthen the car until the entire log can fit on in that way. Having these shorter, it's weird. I don't like thinking about it, but I can't get it out of my head either. But yeah, anyways, to the station now. The station itself, pretty simple one, just 2 tracks, one of each side of a camp, going both into this turntable, and that means that you can just come in with an engine and the cars, load it all up, disconnect the engine, turn it around onto the other track, and then drive past everything, come back from the other side, reconnect it, and then go back to the way you came from. I'm planning on changing these in quite a few ways. Most likely we'll be having a very long and built out station here, because this is kind of a bit of a hub for the entire area. We have a lot of other industries in the same general vicinity, so gonna be useful to have something properly built up here, and I will also most likely just have the main line come around the entire place instead of splitting into these 2 tracks and going through the entire thing. But that's something for the future, gonna take a while. Also, since I want to drive the train at the end of the session, let's just load it up already, just so it's not gonna be completely cold when I get here. When I get here again, I don't think it's gonna be too much fun that way. Also, I'll need to build just the firewood camp or whatever it's called at some point, rather soonish, somewhere. But let's go to the sawmill now. Until I come back, the Betsy should hopefully be all fired up. The sawmill is the only one in its original location still. Oh yeah, speaking of locations, of course, I was up at the top, just northeast of the original position of the smelter. It's a pretty nice one. We are going to see a bit more of it towards the end of the video. Yeah, this one still at the original lake and only being rotated by about 90 degrees. Just so I can build something completely different here and not have about same experience as on my regular save. it's not necessary to move all the industries around, have everything changed up, but if I'm doing something like this already, going back to square one, even if it's not like any industry being in a bad place or something, I want to have a bit of a different experience, so I'm changing it anyways. But yeah, we have pretty much the same thing going on as in the logging camp. One track on each of the sides of the industry, one for dropping off the logs, one for collecting the lumber and beams, and just both of them going into just into a turntable at the end, just for you to be able to take the engine around the loaded or unloaded cars and come back from the other side to reconnect them and then just leave potentially the same way you came from. The thing about this here is that we now have a four-way junction, which I really wanted to make a three-way junction, but it didn't work out too well. I tried to first up connect both of these sides together before going into the junction. However, while that is possible, of course, it would also mean moving the junction further down into either this direction or this one. And it kind of ended up at some point trying to make a turnaround and go into the side of a mountain or something. So the jury is still out if this is possible on this version. It is most likely, it's just gonna take a longer time. I already spent about an hour just on this one, and I decided, let's just do it this way instead of trying to figure it out completely. I'll just rebuild it at some point. So you have the three ways, of course, being kind of four ways. Two towards the sawmill, one towards the new industries, or most of the industries, including the logging camp, which you just were at. And the other one going down south towards, well, directly the starting area and my soon-to-be train yard. And also further going down towards the freight depot and the iron works, which I both haven't connected yet, as you could see, and gonna take a bit of time. But yeah, this is all the stuff that I have to show for now, apart from maybe a bit more of a scenic view just traveling from here towards the sawmill, because I think that's just a really beautiful trek around the entire area. So let's see if the Betsy is already up to the task. Should be fine, or at least should be enough to get going, and later if the temperature should catch up. Yep, 400 degrees should be alright. But of course this is the Betsy, so it's gonna take a moment. I think it's just a cute little train. I just love starting out again, it's just, it's kinda nice. I'm glad that I can move on to longer and stronger engines, or longer trains, stronger engines eventually, but the starting has such a lot of charm, and that's mostly also down to this cute little engine, which really should be only used as a helper, but I can't help it for now. So, other things to talk about with the series, I'm mostly done with all the different industry positions. The one thing I would consider in case I make this save public, or at least starting a save, would be to add another logging camp. There would be an opportunity. Let's quickly have a look at the map before we get into the decent view anyways. I could put down one at the oil field. Advantage being mostly it's a bit easier to get to than going around the side of a mountain here. And it's also, well, in a space where you just have a lot of space, so you could build up any type of connection there, any type of station that you want. It's just kinda easy in that way. However, overall it's not gonna be shorter than this trip. It's about the same length from what I've seen on the map. Just rough estimations. And I don't know if it would be useful in the long run, but I think for just starting out it would maybe be the go-to instead, but yeah. For me, not necessary. Also, I could always do this after the fact, just put it into one of these saves first, then copy just the position of the entire thing and put it onto the blank map as well. So it would be in the exact same position, and as long as I haven't built anything there yet, which I don't think I necessarily will, because I mean, I could go in that general direction just for the sake of getting towards the freight depot, but besides that there's really not much going on down there. But yeah, this is now us going above the valley, above and beyond if you want, where we used to have the smelter. And I just put the oil field in there. I think it's looking kinda nice. Besides maybe putting down a second logging camp, I had a few other ideas, like getting a second smelter also and blocking off the access to one of the products from that, so you would have one smelter just being able to collect the rails from it, the other one from the raw iron. Didn't really pan out too well, so I decided against it. Also on this track, by the way, there are some ups and downs, but it's not really anything much beyond 0.5%. So should be all good for the Betsy for quite a while. So now going through that, above that one valley. Should maybe cut down a few of the trees that are in the foundation. You maybe wouldn't have even noticed if I didn't point it out, but well, that's just how I am. I think, yeah, this is amazing looking, really happy with it. And yeah, the other save that I have, I kinda need to connect into the same area. I needed to go onto the plateau above the smelter valley. And also coming from that, from the other area, from the sawmill, and going just through there. On that save, I just went straight ahead, coming out of that very small crevice between the two mountains, instead of going north, which I went here. So we are now going back south down the opposite direction. I think this is just a more scenic way of handling things, and maybe I could see myself rebuilding the other, on the other save, that part of the track just to fit this same theme and the same general route, but then again, I like having stuff different on both of them. So I might just keep the giant unrealistic bridge spanning from somewhere over there all the way across to the other side of the valley, which is kind of a weird thing, but likely wouldn't work too well in reality, but it is what it is over there. But for this one, I'm definitely happy I went with this routing. It's very nice. Also, going into this smallish valley, it's gonna take a bit of power to get through, because this is where we have a slight climb for a moment. I kinda wonder how many of these cars Betsy can really pull up. I mean, 0.5% is barely anything, but I mean, this is a tiny engine. The engine itself is kinda pretty efficient for the size of a locomotive, but still, don't wanna overdo it. And yeah, while I absolutely love having the Betsy as the main engine again for a while, I'm also kind of looking forward to retiring it at some point, not gonna lie about that. I think I'll be focusing on a lot of stuff with coal engines in this one. On the other save, I so far only managed to get one of the engines. I think the 10 mile will be my first one for this one. Kind of depends on the price. But I know that I don't need to really worry about getting coal supplies, so I can just go for it right away. And yeah, I think we are now getting into really chugging along. Shouldn't be too long, but I could have maybe gone in with a bit more speed to begin with. But yeah, I also want to get a Glenbrook, first up because I love the Glenbrook, and secondly, it's one of the few engines in this game that would really use wood as fuel. And in case they do a rework on the coal engines, I don't want to be caught up and just be surprised with my pants down and not having any coal set up in order to keep the engines running, so I need a plan B. And that land book is definitely a very, very good plan B to have. But that's gonna be something for another day. In terms of building style or anything like that, if that's what you may be wondering about, I'm kinda be sticking to my guns here as the same style as on the other one, so nothing too unrealistic, hopefully nothing too majorly concerned with realism either, so something in between. I'm not gonna build anything crazy just for the sake of it. Gonna have to see though. And we are coming into the sawmill, about time to load off. Which will also be the end of the video. I just wanted to also have my first money making on on film, quote unquote. What a momentous occasion. Just gonna have to do this 3 more times and then, well, I need to do something else because at that point the sawmill will be full. Okay, maybe hit the brakes a bit early. Don't really care about a rolling load off, just gonna... Maybe I should have done that. Don't see myself stopping in time, but well... Okay, this has a lot more momentum than I expected. I'm definitely gonna have to roll that back a bit, but... Anyways, let's get some of the stuff unloaded. Loosen all the brakes again. I wonder if I could get it unloaded on the other side, but I think the thing that is triggering the acceptance of logs is just gonna be hitting the platform. And it's likely just yeah, allowing it to roll a bit longer. Okay, gonna be doing a rolling unload for the rest of the logs, I guess. That was a bit of a fail. I thought the brakes would be slightly better, but then again, it's likely also pulling a lot of stuff along, at which point it kinda started pushing. But it's already gotten a lot better with just dealing with all the mass. Now there's a bit less of it. So let's just keep unloading. And if my calculations are correctly, since I'm playing on medium again, I think there should be 50 of each at the collection areas at the end. We're gonna have to see about that. I might not wait until everything is processed because that's gonna take a while. I hope we still get accepted. It's looking a bit dodgy. Okay, I might need a bit more speed over here. Still not too sure where I even want to build the firewood camp. I could theoretically just put it at the logging camp itself. It would make loading it pretty easy. And after all, there should always be enough wood in the engines in order to just keep it going until it comes back around to that place, but I don't know. Definitely don't have a proper yard in order to put it anywhere. Let's see, 38. How long is it gonna take to load off? I don't think I'm gonna be waiting for that. But yeah, this should be filling up pretty nicely. Let's just see how much there is in each of those. Should be slightly less than 20 if my calculations are correct. Yeah, 14. That's looking pretty promising. So yeah, I guess there should be about 50 in each of those loading areas. And then we are going to have to wait. Or get more stuff, I mean. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Made my first money, fresh new start, really happy about it, and we're going to see where all the other industries are in the next few videos. Till then, thanks for watching and bye bye.